there, thanks for clicking on this video. David with Beyond the Blast Doors here, doing a really cool video, kind of a 2-for-1 deal. I'm right now unboxing a package I got from the ComicHaulics, and I'll show you the box here. I mean, I'm really just unpacking it. I got this a couple of weeks ago, and I got 4 really cool books. They did a live auction with Alex, the comic hoarder, a few weeks ago. I'm just now opening this box, and so I want to show off these books, but also they're doing a 300 sub contest. So Wayne and Jess hit 300 subs. I think now they're already over 400, and they haven't even ended the 300 sub contest, so that's pretty cool. But they want to know about the comic book community people, and so I feel really thankful because, you know, I'm David. I'm with Beyond the Blast Doors, like I say at the beginning of every video that I do. But we do a Star Wars show. We do a weekly Star Wars show. We also do a lot of comic book stuff. We look into the canon stuff. We talk about action figures. We talk about cosplay. But to be accepted by the comic book community is really cool. And Wayne and Jess have been probably 2 of the more accepting people. They've just gone above and beyond. I mean, it's cool how we're separated by 1,000+ miles, but Wayne is just a text away. And I love talking with them. They're 1, they're fun. 2, they're really passionate. And 3, they just do great videos. So it's definitely in that order. They're really good people, they're really passionate, and their product is really cool. What more do you need? So the 2 rules for the contest is that I have to be at least 18 years of age. I'm 25, and I have to tell you a little bit about me. So you kind of know about my shtick here, my role on this channel. Star Wars, the passion there began when I was 3. My mom left for a volunteer conference, and my dad made me promise that I would not tell my mom that he was about to let me watch Star Wars, the original 77 film, which many now know as A New Hope. But yeah, I watched it, and I was just blown away. I remember being scared by the opening scene with Vader walking onto the Tantive 4. I remember the awe that I was in when we got to Tatooine. How cool it was to see Obi-Wan ignite his lightsaber there in the cantina. And just as that movie continued, I thought it was really great. And it really has evolved into an obsession. It is pretty unhealthy, but as my dad always tells me, I could be doing crack. So if there was something that I'm addicted to, at least it's Star Wars. And I think that's how he copes. Let me show you a book. Spectacular Spider-Man. 1976. This is the first series. This is number 233. It's Inner Demons, Web of Carnage. This is 404. This is by Todd DeZago. And the art is by Sal Buscema. And it looks pretty solid, doesn't it? Sal also does the cover. And this story is a continuation from Spider-Man 67. So basically, Spider Carnage is in this, right? Has no options and is not able to shed Carnage's symbiote. So he can't control it either. So we learn that Ben Reilly's final hope is to break into the Ravencroft Institute. And there's quite a bit more to this story. I don't want to give you away. That's a setup. If you want to learn more about the story, then you can go seek this book out. But I really like that cover. I like the twist, what I say, the twistiness. But I like seeing the flexibility, the pliability of Carnage there on this cover. I think it's really cool. And of course, you're getting Spider-Man there. The image is depicting Carnage overtaking Spider-Man. So pretty cool. This is a fun book. I've read it. Not this issue. I haven't cracked this. I just pulled this out of the box. So a really cool cover there. Thank you very much, Wayne and Jess, for that book. I've got 3 more, but I want to intersperse some more about me, because that's the primary desire here, is Wayne and Jess want to learn more about me. So other than Star Wars, I really enjoy Legos. I've got a couple pictures here that I want to show you, actually, of 3 sets that I'm really proud of. And they're not Star Wars, surprisingly. They're part of the Lego Creators series. And so I got the Parisian Restaurant, I've got the Detective's Office, and I've got the Theater. And these sets are a couple thousand pieces each. I mean, like, combined, it's like you're looking at 13,000 Legos. And to me, I love the intricacy of these sets. My first Lego set was in like 99, I think it was, or 98. It was that Battle of Endor. It came with Luke Skywalker, 2 Scout Troopers, their speeders, and a tree. But I was able, at that age, I was able to make that one tree feel like the entire forest moon of Endor. And I would play with it, and I could never have dreamt of sets looking like this. These are so detailed. I just love it. And to scale with the minifigures, you can have a lot of fun with these modular builds. And so probably the last 3 years, I got turned on to these. In fact, I bought the Parisian Restaurant as my adulting gift. It was my first gift to myself out of college. I got my big boy job. I built that, and then like 3 months later, I bought the Millennium Falcon, the $150 one, or it was like $125. I'm not buying that $800 Millennium Falcon. Nobody's got money for that. At least I don't. But yeah, I love Legos, and it's something that I've been able to share with my sister Meredith. I always built the Star Wars Legos, and she built the Harry Potter Lego sets growing up. So that was a really cool way for us to bond as we were going through that like teenage spot. That relationship between brother and sister can kind of sometimes become complicated. You get on each other's nerves, and Legos a good way to diffuse the tension. So a little insight on my family, and another hobby, I love Legos. So I'm going to show you another book. This is a really cool cover, Venom Lethal Protector. Back in '93, this book came out. If you get this book graded, I did some research, you get this bad boy graded CGC 9.8, this bad boy is going for like $250 plus. Pretty cool. That red foil really makes the book pop, the cover pop, and it's hardstock. I mean, it's thick, it's durable. The art, Mark Bagley does it, Sam De La Rosa does it as well. They tag team on it, and this is pretty cool. It's hard to look away from this cover. Basic premise, and I'm pretty sure that everyone knows, most people knows this book that are in the comic book community. Venom moves to San Francisco and is trying out a few new things. He and Spidey, there's kind of a team up. Homeless people are involved. I like to give you a setup of what the book entails. I don't want to tell you everything that happens inside. And especially with this book, I feel like it's popular enough to where you already know what happens inside. So I don't want to tell the class, what's, something they already know. But if you don't know, well, then how about this? I told you just enough to go find this book for yourself. Go pick it up at a local comic book store, I should say, and give it a read. It's definitely worth your time. I work in TV. That's something else about me. I work in television broadcast news. I've been doing it for just about 3.5 years, and I really enjoy it. Every day is new, which I really enjoy. Something that was always intimidating to me was finding a career that was like a desk job, and you're sitting there every day doing the same similar tasks. And so I was like, I don't want that. I don't want anything to do with that. I wanted to not go to college, and I just wanted to travel and do stand-up. And then my dad was like, you got to be funny first. And I guess I didn't think about that part. So I guess, like, if you're not funny, you can't really be a comedian. And I'm like, okay, all right, fine. So I'm not the funniest guy in the world, so what can I be? And, I stumbled on broadcasting. I grew up listening to Cardinals baseball with my dad on the radio. And so I did play-by-play in college, and then I ended up getting a news gig. And, in college, I have, like, a journalism degree, so I'm not, like, a fraud. I'm not, like, a baseball play-by-play guy, bringing you the news. But I'm an evening anchor, and so that's a lot of fun. I've been doing that for about a year now, and it's a desk job in a way, but I'm always dealing with new content. I'm always able to tell new stories, and I'm always able to meet new people. And that's the thing, is I get to tell stories that I feel, at the local level, like the local affiliate, news people in your community, at that level, you're able to really make people smile and happy, the stories that you tell. And not everything I get to cover is positive. There's tragedy, just like there is anywhere else in the world. But when I get the chance to deliver a really happy story, it's really satisfying. Not as satisfying, but a pretty cool comic book cover is Road to Civil War II. This is the Invincible Iron Man. This is issue number 9. It's the A cover. And this bad boy dropped just a couple years ago, 2015. And it's that second series, The War Machines Part 4. So Bendis is writing this, and of course the big conversation right now in the comic book community is what is he going to do with DC now that he's left Marvel. And you're talking about the guy who brought me Miles Morales, who really brought that character to life to me. So yeah, I'm curious too. But Mike Deodato does the art and cover here on this book. Tony and Rhodey, they're best buds at this point. But the friendship gets tested, and it is a pretty vicious test. A lot of people have read the Civil War II line. They know what's going on. This is a prologue story. I really enjoy it. Anything with Iron Man, I'm really a sucker. Here we are in 2017, and the MCU is about to have the Infinity Wars, parts 1 and 2. And, they're saying that it's going to be a finale for the MCU as we know it right now. And that's just mind-blowing. But think about it. We've had some of these characters since 2008. And I look at this cover, and I know that in the comics, we have Riri Williams donning the armor right now. But I think about who my Iron Man is, and of course it's Tony Stark. But my Iron Man is Robert Downey Jr. Like when I read the comics, it's his voice that I have. It's his sarcastic wit that it's in my head, and so it's interesting to see the characters develop in the Civil War II, because I think some of these characters we're about to get in the MCU, which is really exciting. And at the same time, it's a little bittersweet, because I know that we're going to have to be saying bye to some of our current heroes in order for that transition to happen. So, nonetheless, really excited for that movie to come out. I guess that's an important thing to mention about me, since I just showed you that cover, is the fact that I just really enjoy comic book movies. I got introduced to comic books in 2010. I was a freshman at Southeast Missouri State in Cape Girardeau, Missouri, and I was really trying to get along with the guys at the radio station, and I was going to do anything I could to get their respect, and they read comic books, and it was something that I always wanted to get into. My parents didn't really support it. It just if you're going to read a book, go read a novel. They didn't get it. They get it now. So I went with Joe one day, Joe Groller, to the comic book store, Jack's Comic Shop. And he brought me in there, and my world was kind of just like turned upside down. It was about 6 or 7 months before the New 52 thing started. I know that Miles Morales was kind of heating up at that point. And I don't know, I spent the next hour and a half digging through the dollar bin. I got like Batman, like $6.99 through $7.08 or something like that. I mean, it was, several books that I got, and I just went back home, and I was in my dorm room, flipping through the books, and later I got Batman, R.I.P., just got those stories in trade form, and so I started my single issue collection, started my trade collection, and that was pretty cool. But it was also my first experience, that relationship, that Joe introduced me to that comic book shop. It also got me introduced to Jack the owner. And that actually led to my first act of kindness. So act of kindness is a term that I've learned here in the comic book community. Acts of kindness, Legend, the great Legend will talk about the Alpha Omega acts of kindness. I hope I'm getting that right. Legend, please forgive me if I got that wrong. But this was my first in-person act of kindness. This is The Killing Joke. And this is a pretty common book. I've got the first print slabbed on my comic book wall. This is the second printing. But you have to understand, I was a freshman in college. I didn't know many people. And I started befriending the folks at the comic book shop. And they were always telling me about Alan Moore and how bizarre he is, and the great artwork of Brian Boland. And, I had read the story, The Killing Joke. I borrowed a friend's copy, but I didn't have a copy of my own. And I saw this on Jack's wall. And I was like, man, that is so cool. He's like, yeah, but it's only a second print. And I'm like, still, man, it'd be so cool if one day I could save up and I could get that. And he's like, well, again, it's only the second print. Like, it's not nearly as expensive as the first one. I go, okay. And he's like, I got an idea. He goes, you buying that pile of books? I go, yeah. And he goes, you can have this bad boy for free. That was a cool moment. So I always hold this comic pretty closely. I've unfortunately lost contact with Jack. I would love to hit him up sometime and just see how he's doing. The biggest Spider-Man fan I've ever met. He would always tell me that he gets 2 copies of every Spider-Man book. One to read, one to file away for a rainy day in case the book gets hot. So, Jack, if you ever see this, thank you so much. I got one more book here, and it kind of segues from that story into this, because it was Jack, that comic book owner, that introduced me to Miles Morales. And I always wanted this book. I can never find this book. And we've got a variant here. It's a second printing variant, issue number 4, Ultimate Fallout, Spider-Man No More. And this is the first appearance of Miles Morales. I have a massive poster of Miles. I've got I follow his lines. I got all of his firsts. I would just really enjoy the character, and it was nice because I was not into comics with Peter Parker. When I got into comics, Miles Morales was really getting popular, and he was just basically being introduced. And I got to, I don't know, kind of get introduced to this Marvel world with him. I really was able to identify the character, which was kind of cool. So, written by Bendis. Hickman is on this, Spencer's on this, Salvador LaRocca and Clayton Crane. The cover is done by Mark Bagley. And I just really enjoy this image. It's a Miles Morales that looks like he's contemplating, does he don the Spider-Man suit? It's pretty daunting. And there's just so much that's broken down in this issue. It's a really eventful 21, 22 pages of comic, and so it's just crazy that I have my hands on this. When I saw the ComicHaulics put this up on the live auction, I said, I have to get that. Dang it, Wayne and Jesse, be efficient on that timer. You know what happened on this book? There were like 2 times where I had the high bid, and then someone contested me, and then I one-upped them, and then they extended the timer another 30 seconds. And I was like, no! I get it. Folks, we auction to make money. I get that. I just don't want to lose my chance. And I didn't, because I have the book. It's right here, and it's pretty satisfying. I'm probably going to put this in the top loader. Maybe one day I will grade it. I love how it's in great condition, too. I mean, that's really nice. I guess that's one thing I don't really talk about when I do books is, a lot of my books are, like, really good condition, very fine. I have a lot of Nearman stuff, but, like, me, the Nearman stuff isn't worth much. But I don't collect books to sell. I really do collect them for the story and really the artwork, and that's really my passion that's grown since I joined the comic book community. So I guess that's my last thing is since I've joined the comic book community, my collecting has changed where, yes, I'm going for stories, but I'm not just going for that monthly story. I'm going back. I'm digging older arcs and trying to uncover, how this character made their first appearance or a significant event in this character's history. So I'm really expanding my scope and my understanding of these characters. But as with Star Wars comic collecting, I'm really looking for a lot of the variants because I like to see how other people interpretate the same character. Like a really good example is if you could look at the Lando run, there are several variants for each issue, and you're able to see how people see how they see that character. And so I'll put a couple covers up on the screen right now just for you to look at so I can explain. Like some, he's this kind of cartoony kind of look very animated, but he's a sly gangster over here, and there's others like this on the other side of the screen where he's in a mugshot and he's surrounded, and it's like this great tribute to this smuggler. All the bounty hunters are after him. He's not just this smooth talking, good-looking man. This man has a record, and he's wanted. And so that's just one example. I think a better example, honestly, if you want to see a variety of artwork with Star Wars comics, because that's kind of a sect of Star Wars of comic books that is exploding since 2015, is the Darth Maul miniseries run had incredible variants. Number one, I found, it's with Maul on his speeder from Phantom Menace, of course, and that thing was going for $100, and it's crazy to think that Maul's resurgency is at that point where people are paying what I would consider big money for his books. That's pretty cool for a character who got killed off, the first movie in, killed off too soon. So I could go on and on about what I think of those cool covers. Also, thank you so much, Jess and Wayne. You packed this box so well, so nicely packed in there, a lot of newspaper, the bubble wrap. I'll be popping this for the rest of the afternoon. That's going to do it for my video. I think I did this right. I think I did this right. If I did this wrong, Wayne and Jess, I'm sorry. Following directions was never really my greatest skill. But, showed off some books, told you a little bit about myself, my family, the hobbies that I have, and where those hobbies and passions kind of originated from. And I guess if you're seeing this video after the deadline, because I think it's like 24 or 48 hours away at this point, I'm just going to ask that you go ahead and still make a video and you share a little bit about yourself, because I think that's pretty cool. Everyone shares books. Some people have really great keys. Some people have sentimental books, and that's great. But the element that's always different with every video is the person breaking down the books. And that's what's so great. And that's honestly the reason why we started the show is everyone can talk Star Wars. We just have the setup to allow us to do it in a way that allows us to kind of create and extend that conversation. And we always want you to be part of that conversation as well. So be on the lookout for our next episode. Wayne and Jess, congratulations on 300 subs. Congratulations on 400 subs. And I guess I'll just do another one of these when you guys hit 500. See you guys soon.